Hey guys, Joshy here, back for another episode, BJ and Game Day. We're slowly making our way through these team previews for the 2020 season. We are up to, second place on the ladder, but the premiership winners from last season in the Sydney Roosters. So we're going to run through their team, we're going to run through their draw, and obviously a team like this, and as we get to the pointy end of the ladder, we tend to look at a few more players. Unfortunately for the Roosters, they've obviously lost Latrell Mitchell in the off-season. Plenty of sort of backwards and forwards, toing and throwing there with whether he was going to play or not. They've seen the injury of Billy Smith, who was basically his crown taker. He was going to step up and be the replacement, and he was an awesome cheapie for Supercoaches. Unfortunately, he's gone down with the ACL, and he'll be done for the season. So a few questions to be asked about the team. Let's have a look at the NRL.com predicted team. And look, not really too many surprises here. A little bit of talk, obviously, whether Jake Friend starts. I guess with all the injuries that he had in 2019. But pretty straightforward. You got the superstars from the top in James Tedesco. Look, amazing player, the best player in Supercoach last year. Averaged 84. He ticks absolutely every box possible. I saw a sneaky interview with him the other day from one of the lads on Supercoach NRL, and very, very aware. He knows if he has a bad game, fans walk along the street, absolutely give it to him. So it's always nice to see that they sort of stay on top of this. Hopefully we can see him perform quite well again this year. I do have him as my starting fullback at the moment. It's $780,000. It's a lot to pay, but he is all class. And consistency is something we're seeing more and more from him every year that it goes on. So whether he can be as effective, there's a bit of talk around, obviously, with the retirement of Cooper Cronk and the half and 5'8" combination there being Kyle Flanagan brought on board from the Cronulla Sharks and Luke Keary. Whether they can be as effective up the centre for James Tedesco. Now, if Keary or I guess the in sync that these guys can be and the combinations, if they're at least a quarter of a second or a half a second slower, whether Teddy's is effective, whether he makes that line break or whether he gets tackled. Now, Tedesco more often than not just makes his own luck. So I've got plenty of faith there that he can do the job and maintain that average. Or I don't really think we can see it improve too much beyond 84. Look, if he gets up to 90, that'd be amazing. But I really, really doubt you'll ever see someone average 100 over a full season. So if he can stay around that 80 again, I'll be happy. I don't mind if I lose sort of 30 or 40 or 50 grand on him, because if you can average that 80, you're doing pretty well. Look, a couple of other effective Supercoach players here, and look, the Roosters have got them all across the board, really. You've got Daniel Tupou on the wing. You've got Joey Manu in the centres, who now that obviously Latrell is gone, the injury to Billy Smith, he's shown in the past couple of seasons, Joey, that he's definitely been on the way up. Another fella there that we can probably expect to see, score some good points in Supercoach. I did have him in my team. I've dropped him for Maker Sivo for now. I'll wait and see how he fires, and if he does start to fire, I'll find a way to get him in the team. Luke Keary at the 7. Now, he's playing my 5'8" position in my Supercoach team. I've got him alongside Mitch Moses. I had him in there. I know you've got SJ. I know you've got a few other players that are options, but I think now that he's been given the general tag at the Roosters, I think we can see a huge year for Luke Keary. We've mentioned Siwa Takiyaho a little bit earlier in one of the previous episodes. Very, very solid player, but obviously he can have those down weeks where he scores 35 or 40. Now, if obviously he gets the kicking duties, that's a little bit better, but if Flanagan does get them, we're going to see a little bit of those points come off the top. Boyd Cordner, Angus Crichton, solid as always. Victor Radley, I'm not too sure how many minutes he's going to get. If he plays 80, look, a lot of people are talking about having him. He's in that sort of high 400s range. His workload's great, and he probably has become a little bit more effective in the off seasons, but I just want to see that little bit more from him. I'm not too sure how that forms, though. I think a player like Cameron Murray is probably what you'd want to try and see, is, you know, Victor Radley turning into a $650,000 player. But again, I just don't know if it's there yet. I don't know if he's got the workload or the work rate that Cam Murray does. Now, if we look at the bench there, look, the biggest trap in Supercoach, or one of them, is Mitch Orbison. A lot of people have this guy at one stage or the other. I'm glad he's starting at about 410,000 this year, because in past years when he sort of started at 250, 300, he's definitely been a trap. Hopefully at 410, people won't even consider him. Moving into your others down the bottom there. Look, we've mentioned to a couple of guys in the Pimp My Teams that the Lindsay Collins thing. Now, obviously he's not there. He doesn't find himself on that interchange in the NRL.com team. And I really can't see any reason why the four guys on that interchange would lose a spot. Isaac Liu's been huge. He's basically their front row when either JWH or Takiaho are out. Butcher's been fantastic the last couple of years. Orbison, he's a great utility. And Sam Verrills has shown that he can play that 9 spot very, very easily. You're going to see blokes like Drew Hutchison, Lachlan Lamb back up for the 6 and 7 spot if there's any injuries to those guys. If Flanagan doesn't hit it off how they think he probably will, you may see either of those guys step into the spot full time. So, yeah, guys, just a quick one there on the Roosters. A lot of players to run through with regards to their effectiveness in Supercoach. You wouldn't go too wrong if you had this as your complete team, but I don't want to use that sombrero joke, but like the Roosters in real life, you probably wouldn't get them under the salary cap. So there you go. All right, so you look at the Roosters draw for 2020, and it's not too bad early on. Penrith Panthers, Manly Seagulls, Rabbitohs. You got the Titans there, which is a nice easy one. Cronulla and the Warriors. So look, heading through sort of 7, 8 games, you'd probably want to see them about sort of 75% win rate. And that's probably what they can do as the defending premiers. Obviously, the big thing is without their general in Cooper Cronk, where they get along. Now, they are one of the top teams that does actually have the bye in round 12 as well. So come round sort of 13, you can start to get all these players in because you'll have them for the whole run home. So, they've got a couple of, difficult games there. They play the Storm a couple of times. They play Manly a couple of times. Parramatta they've only got once. Sharks a couple of times. The Raiders a couple of times. As you can see there, the Raiders twice in 4 rounds. So that'll be interesting. But tough sort of draw for the defending premiers overall for the year. Bogan, anything to add? Oh, we might mention the BJ and Game Day group code again. I'm sure you've heard it 5,000 times already, but 218-667. Please join up. We've got about 160, 170 right now, so hopefully that we can crack the 200 mark for that. Massive thanks to everyone who's subscribed lately on YouTube. Now, guys, it really means a lot to us. We're up to about 260 subscribers now, so for us, compared to a few of the other Supercoach channels out there and that, it's not as many. We do like to think that with the production value that we've got and the natural talent on the camera, that we should be a little bit more. But, guys, it's just a work in progress, as always. We do appreciate if anyone can share, if you know any mates or that who want to give us a follow and give us a subscribe, catch us on Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So, guys, that's another episode. Next episode, we'll jump onto the minor premiers from last year who got knocked out in the semis, the Melbourne Storm. We'll run through them, and not too far away will be the team reveals. Cheers, guys. Hey guys, Joshy here. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of BJ on Game Day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube for all your notifications. If you do want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us there at BJ on Game Day. and on Twitter, we're at BJ on Game Day as well. So, guys, we'd really like your support with that. Follow us so we can know you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks very much.